Have you ever wondered what's the right fertilizer schedule to use in your garden that will yield you results? Well, in this video I want to share with you how to come up with a fertilizer schedule that will yield you 100% results. So most farmers are struggling to find the right way of applying fertilizers in their garden, and some are not doing it right the way they're supposed to do it, and it's costing them very many losses in their garden. Sometimes the crops go to unexpected levels. Sometimes the crops are greening and they're not producing the fruit that is desired, and sometimes the crops are delayed in their growth. Well, there are many factors that of course affect fertilizer application, but most farmers are usually biased between inorganic and organic fertilizers. They don't know. Some are saying I'm going to use only inorganic fertilizers, some are saying I am going to use only organic fertilizers, and some are doing the blend, but even in the blend they do not know how to apply them. And of course, like I said, some have a bias over one over the other that is actually costing them very many losses. Maybe just before I continue, let me just define, because the right blend always affects how your results come out eventually. Let me just give a definition of the differences between the inorganic fertilizers and organic fertilizers. Inorganic fertilizers are manufactured through industrial processes containing concentrated specific nutrients. So they are usually manufactured in a factory, and they have specific nutrients that are allocated in it. So sources can be urea, ammonium nitrate, diammonium phosphate, DAP. One they usually call DAP farmers, it's ammonium phosphate, muriate of potash, MOP, NPK blends. You have NPK, different blends of NPK. They have 15-15, they have 17-17, there's one of 19-19 ratios. And so yeah, maybe one video I'll share about those different ratios and how they work. But yeah, those are a simple definition of what inorganic fertilizers are. Then organic fertilizers, those are made from natural-based, plant-based or animal-based materials, either animal waste or plant waste materials. So sources include compost, manure, bone meal, crop residues, green manure, poultry droppings. So these are from an animal source, but yeah, decomposed to give nutrients in the plant. So when farmers don't know how to do the balance of both inorganic fertilizer and organic fertilizers, they are making losses. The improvement or the right way to apply this blend of fertilizers is what will determine what your crop gives you in the end, the desired harvest that you want. The right blend that you need to apply for both inorganic, because I said, like, some farmers usually have a bias towards one, and they tend to neglect the other. I believe their relevance and importance of both inorganic fertilizers and organic fertilizers, if we understand their importance and we understand how to blend them, then we can easily get the results that we need in our gardens. So usually most farmers are biased about inorganic fertilizers because they believe they spoil the soil, they burn the crops, they make food poisonous. When some say when you use them, you cannot stop to use them. Yes, it is true that these inorganic fertilizers, if you have not really applied them in your garden, they can be of a disadvantage to your garden. They can either mess up your soil, or they can give you the undesired results that you may eventually see in your garden. So it's important that you understand how to use them in a way that is going to yield you results in your garden. Now the blend is of the two fertilizers is very important to give you the desired harvests. So what's the perfect balance? Let me read you this quote from an unknown person. It says, "Take good care of your soil and the soil will take care of your plants." So if our soil is taken care of very well, then the plants will give us what we want. So I'm going to tell you what's the best fertilizer blend for these two that will give you 100% results, because most farmers are struggling to get the results because they're not really doing the right blend of these two fertilizers. And like I've said, some are opting for one and some are neglecting the other. But if you are very serious and you know what to do, how to blend in inorganic fertilizers and organic fertilizers, you will get very, very, very good results in your garden. See, as a beginner consultant, even me, when I was starting out, helping very many beginner farmers, I didn't know about fertilizer use, and we began the tomato project. I've always shared about this tomato project 2 years ago, and I did not know how to blend in fertilizers. I just got to make sure I got the best fertilizer. Of course, when you're starting out, you'll find someone that will recommend you, say this fertilizer is the best, this is the best for tomatoes, this is the best for what. And then I continued to apply consistently because I thought it's just a consistent application that will give me the results. I realized my tomatoes, some delayed to come up, and some of them were just giving me little harvest than expected, because I expected at least way a high harvest, but I just thought maybe if I consistently apply fertilizers, I would get the results. And I remember I bought inorganic fertilizer, organic fertilizers. Of course, some farmer manufactured them and packed them in sacks, and that's what I used for my garden. And I applied those ones consistently. I didn't buy inorganic fertilizers, by the way, because there's this fact I tell you: when you buy organic fertilizer and apply them in your garden, they will give you the best results. And so I applied the fertilizers, and yeah, the tomatoes of course came out, but not as we expected. The harvest was not that high as we expected. So I realized the importance of having a blend of these two fertilizers, inorganic fertilizers and organic fertilizers, is what will give you the results. And how can we get the right blend of these two fertilizers? The right blend comes from knowing their importances and uses. So organic fertilizers, they are good in stabilizing the soil environment, but they release nutrients slowly. The plant will come to different stages when it needs the fertilizers, and if they're not available at that stage, the plant will grow slowly. And that's why we need the inorganic fertilizers to come, because for them the nutrients are always readily available. You're going to put these pellets on the plant when it is needed, and the plant will be able to give you the results that you need. So the right blend should be based on both their uses. Organic fertilizers, of course, they supply nutrients, but they supply nutrients slowly. They release their nutrients slowly because the soil, they need to be broken down by the microbes in the soil for them to be able to release these nutrients into the soil. So the process happens gradually, and sometimes the plant will be in a phase, let's say it's developing its roots and stems, and it will be needing those nutrients very fast. And so you will need a supplement, which is the inorganic fertilizer, because their nutrients there are ready available. So the nutrients supplied there will be used at the point when the plant needs the fertilizers faster, and you will get results because you're supplying the nutrients when the plant actually needs them at that stage. Yes, so you blend the two. As the organic fertilizers are improving the soil quality, like I said, the soil quality includes the pH. This is the acidity or alkalinity of the soil, the soil texture, and the soil structure. These factors are very important in improving the soil environment, the soil texture, and the soil structure. Of course, the soil texture informs you about how the soil is able to hold water, and its ability to have air spaces that help the plant access nutrients. So you're improving the environment. For pH, it's the acidity or alkalinity of the soil. Those extreme pH determines whether the soil nutrients will be available to the plant or not. So if the soil pH is not improved, some nutrients you may release them and they may not be available for the plants to use in the soil. So that's what the organic matter does. And also soil structure as well also helps in improving the soil air, the porosity of the soil, like for plants to be able to access nutrients. So if the structure is very, very compact, of course you do not expect plants to access nutrients very, very well, and very many other factors that are important. So the organic matter improves the soil environment for you, the plant should be able to access those nutrients when they're available, as well as releasing the nutrients slowly, because like we need nutrients to be released out throughout the entire growing journey of the crop. So you don't want to apply fertilizers every other time in the garden, and you're spoiling the soil. So we shall let the organic matter release these nutrients slowly in the soil as the plant is growing. Then the inorganic matter will supply the nutrients at the points when the plant needs these nutrients very, very, very strongly. So how do I which blend do I recommend to use for this? Always apply a 20% inorganic matter and 80% organic matter. That's if you've not done soil testing, you can always do that kind of blend for you to get the results. If you've done soil testing, please follow the recommendation of the soil testing, because usually it has those recommendations. But if you haven't done the soil testing, it's usually 80% organic matter and 20% inorganic matter. That blend will give you the results as to apply at different stages. But even with that, when I say 20% and 80%, I mean if you have a plate of organic manure, at least you need 2 bottle tops of inorganic manure. That's what I mean by 80% to 20%. That's sufficient enough. So even with that right blend of percentage, you need to know which stages should I apply, what schedule now do I need to utilize in my garden so that I get 200% results like I promised you at the start of the video. So you need to have the right schedule, and the right schedule is determined by the critical stages of a plant that it takes to go through from a seed to harvest. Now these critical stages are the defining stages of a crop that help it transition from one level of growth to another level of growth. And the stages are 3. We have the vegetative stage, we have the flowering stage, and we have the vegetative stage, we have the flowering stage, and the fruiting stage. The vegetative stage is the stage in which the plant now starts to develop its roots, develop its stems, develop the foliage, the leaves, and then it grows up to a certain level. Then the flowering stage comes in when the plant starts to produce flowers that will eventually develop into fruits. Then you have the fruiting stage. The fruiting stage is the stage in which now the plant starts to develop its fruits to maturity. So you should know if you're growing maybe tomatoes, you should know when to suspect each stage is, or you should at least be vigilant in your garden to know that now my plants are starting to flower, I need to apply this fertilizer. Now my plants are starting to fruit, I need to apply this fertilizer. So because different fertilizers are applied at different stages of growth, if you don't know that and you're continuously applying different fertilizers, same fertilizer at different stages, you will not get the results that you need, because you cannot be applying more NPK at the stage of fruiting. You will not get the results that you want. You need a fruit that is firm, with quality, inner quality, and of course even outside firmness of good quality that is also required in the market. So you need to know the different stages for you to be able to come up with a good schedule. The first stage is the vegetative stage. Usually here it starts from seed, and at seed you apply nitrogen-rich fertilizers and phosphates, of course, to help the roots and stems and leaves to develop very well. So you need to apply, if you're scheduling, you're coming up with a schedule, know what fertilizers are applied in the vegetative stage. And usually, like I said, usually the prevalent fertilizers are applied at this stage are potassium and phosphorus, because they help to develop these structures, the stem, the roots, and the leaves. So the next stage is the flowering stage. When plants start to flower, it's a different thing. something I forgot, at the beginning stage you also need to apply manure at the start. Like I said, manure releases slowly nutrients, so it needs to be available in the soil. So apply manure at the place where the plant can access it, in the planting hole where you're going to plant your seed. Make sure you apply, like I said, maybe a plate of organic manure in the hole with 2 bottle tops of maybe DAP or NPK in the soil to help you develop those different factors. So the organic manure will be in the hole, but it will be releasing nutrients slowly, but also improving the structure of the soil as well. So when you're done with that, you go to the flowering stage. You should be vigilant to know. Of course, some guides, crop guides, let you know at least by around the 4th week for vegetables you'll be able to see flowers. If some crops, by the way, don't need for them to go into flowering. Crops like cabbages, they stop in the vegetative stage after they develop the roots, so they'll just now be forming the head, which is supposed to be taken. Crops like carrots, they don't need to form flowers again. If they form flowers now, they have entered into another stage that is undesired. So for carrots, they have to stop in the rooting stage. The cabbages also, they have to stop in the vegetative stage where they're now starting to develop the head. So know your crop that you're growing, which stage it stops, so that you're not applying other fertilizers that are tending to other stages. So the next stage is the flowering stage, and you should be vigilant in your garden to know when flowers are coming up in your garden. Or if you don't know, but when you start to see flowers, your crops starting to flower, you should also know which fertilizers to apply. Usually calcium-based fertilizers and boron and potassium usually are important at this stage of the crop to help reduce on flower abortion, because if you don't know which fertilizers to apply at this stage, you'll have very many flower abortions. By flower abortions, I mean you will lose very many flowers, and if you lose very many flowers on your plant, don't expect very many fruits. So you need to apply the right fertilizers that help flowers develop and come up at this stage, the flowering stage. So the main nutrients at the flowering stage are boron, I said, calcium, and so you need to apply either a crop specific fertilizer that is designed for flowering stage, or you can apply a foliar fertilizer. Foliar fertilizer are liquid fertilizers applied on the leaves. This one will supply the nutrients at that stage. And so the last stage is the fruiting stage, of course, that you also need to know about. When you need the right fertilizers to apply for this stage. Most crops that you need for fruiting are maybe like tomatoes, chili, green pepper. Those ones you need the fruiting stage. So you need to know which fertilizers are applied to develop the fruits that you need. And at this stage, usually potassium is very important, calcium is also very important, and boron is also is very important. They help improve the flavor. Potassium helps improve the flavor and firmness of the fruit. Calcium also improves the firmness of the fruit, and also reduces disease infestation. It increases disease resistance. Then boron for cell wall integrity and sugar transport. Like the cell walls of of course the cell walls is now you're improving the outside structure of the fruit, so that you don't have very many you don't have the pests being able to penetrate through the fruits. So improving the cell wall structures of the cells, increasing disease resistance of the fruit. So you need to know which fertilizers to apply. So if you don't know which fertilizer to apply, please reach out to an experienced person to help you on this, to know which fertilizers to apply at which stage, that will give you the results. Thank you for watching this video. If you are struggling to start up your vegetable garden, please, I have a guide for beginners in the description below. Please get it and be able to help you out to start your vegetable garden. So yeah, let's go back and develop the right schedule. Know the flowering stage, know the vegetative stage, know the flowering stage and the fruiting stage of the crop before you start to grow it, and know which fertilizers are applied at stages. That's when you develop a good schedule for your crops that will yield you 200% results. Otherwise, thank you for watching. See you in the next video.